What is up, everybody? MSD here, back with another video on Marvel Contest of Champions. Finally, I am back doing something that I actually really enjoy when it comes to content creation, and that's a little series I like to call the Masters Class. So, I believe my last Masters Class video was on Cosmic Ghost Rider when I initially got him as a 5-star, and that was, I think, like 7 months ago, 8 months ago. It was a while ago, and I recently put up a post on my YouTube community page asking people what they want to see from me in the coming weeks. You know, hopefully we get some news about content in March. Really hoping 7.4 drops in March. That would be awesome. So before then, I wanted to make some content, at least something that I can be proud of before hopefully we get some more content. And something that was highly requested was an apocalypse guide, an apocalypse video. Now, I'm calling this how to effectively use Apocalypse. Not just how Apocalypse works, how to work Apocalypse in the most effective way possible. I'm going to talk about a lot in this video, and I'm really going to try and make it look nice, make it look clean. So forgive me if my editing skills are not top tier. I am just trying the best that I can with a barely functioning 11-year-old MacBook Air that is like on its last leg. So bear with me as I try and piece together a really solid Apocalypse video. So before we go into rotations and damage and loops and all that stuff, I just want to go over a few key abilities. Number one, and I think I'm going to try and put like a clip over this talking point, so whenever I say something there's going to be like a few 3-second clip that goes over it, so it's a visual representation as well as audio. So a few things to note. Number one, genetic code. He gets genetic code by winning fights against non-robots. Against mutants, he starts with 2, and of course he'll get a 3rd one from winning the fight, and then he has a synergy with Cable, Mr. Sinister, and Kang that allows him to start immediately with genetic code. Now, I'm not going to be talking about the Horseman ability in this video because that's not Apocalypse, that's his pre-fight. So, yes, you can spend the genetic code, but no, I will not be talking about Horseman in this video. Maybe I'll make a video talking about Horseman in the future, but right now it's just about Apocalypse. So his genetic code is critical for his many loops because, of course, that's where his damage comes from. And when you're at max genetic code, you get to apply both of your debuffs from your special 1 and your special 2, and that's huge. But it's not always necessary, and we'll get to that later. There are ways to build Apocalypse without genetic code to still get very, very high damage. The only thing you're going to miss is a little bit of actual special hit damage, but the red numbers stay the same. So, total molecular control. This is the second thing I wanted to talk about. First of all, he develops Bleed, Incinerate, and Disorient Immunity. I don't really need to show that. That's pretty self-explanatory. The bypass of Evade, you've seen that in videos like my Abyss Collector solo. Many of my Abyss paths, you'll see the red charges getting built up over time. And of course, the Purify ability accuracy reduction, most notably against champions like Korg, nodes like Masochism. Very, very effective counter for those nodes. Critical piece right here, heavy attacks. Not only do they apply Bleed, which is great, and an important detail for later, but they refresh all debuffs. Keep that in mind. Special attacks, of course, like I said, they deal a burst of damage per each unique debuff, per each personal unique debuff. But this is crucial right here, and I do plan on putting a clip right now. If the opponent is suffering from a damage over time effect, special attack debuffs trigger on activation and last 30% longer. That means heavy canceling into any special will automatically increase the duration of all your debuffs by 30%. Huge, absolutely huge detail to consider when using Apocalypse, ramping him up. Allowing yourself more time to get back to more specials is just by heavy canceling. I don't see as much neglect to heavy cancel like when he came out initially, but still it is something that is overlooked. Heavy canceling to apply that one bleed on the initial hit instantaneously increases the duration of all your personal debuffs by 30%. Absolutely massive. Absolutely massive. Huge. Probably one of my favorite things about him is his ability to extend his own internal timer. Love it. And then, of course, we move on to the special attacks. But instead of just talking through, I'm going to show a video. Special 2, Medium, is a degen. Special 2, Light, is a concussion. Special 1, Light, is a weakness. And Special 1, Medium, is a poison. Special 3 makes all debuffs permanent, doubles their potency, and increases the damage. Quick coverage of the special attacks, got it out of the way. Looking good. So now you all know how his special how the application of his special attack debuffs work, how their potencies can fluctuate and all that stuff. So now let's get into a rotation. Standard rotation, I'll just explain it, is if you are running with Cable or any of the Synergy members, 1 Special 1, 1 Special 2, 1 Special 3, and then Special 1 spam. Pretty easy. Literally any of my Abyss videos show this exact rotation. And of course, if you have 1, 2, or 3 genetic code, then you would just do 2 Special 1s, 2 Special 2s, and then 1 Special 3, followed by Special 1. But that's not what we're here to cover. That's the generic, that's the known. Let's talk a little bit about the unknown with Apocalypse. Let's talk about different rotations. Now, I will be putting clips on the screen again. You can mix and match the debuffs that you would like depending on the matchup. Now, you can tactically use Apocalypse without genetic code to counter certain matchups. For example, if you're fighting against, let's say, I don't know, Electro, and he has redoubled determination, so you don't want to place all your debuffs on him. What you can do is you can apply the weakness and the concussion from the Special 1 and Special 2 respectively, make them permanent, and never worry about making the bleed, well, obviously not to be, making the poison or the degen permanent if you use your specials with the corresponding attack. So I'm going to show on the screen an example of that situation where you would use Apocalypse and use his debuffs specifically to counter whatever situation you may face. It's not always the best idea to run into a fight with full genetic code because it could screw you up with certain nodes like Redoubled Determination and other things that are affected by the amount of debuffs on the opponent, whether it be like damage back from, you know, Omega Red's aura. You don't want to apply bleeds, so you don't want to do heavy attacks, so you really want to just use specials as currency and not use them as like a build-up material. And you know, the aforementioned Redoubled Determination, where you want as little debuffs as possible on the opponent, stuff like that. So that's just another way to use Apocalypse and ramp him up. But I've got a few more tips and tricks to show off in this video, so let's do it. What am I doing here? Well, this is a little trick that I like to call the ricochet. You've probably noticed it in most of my Guillotine 2099 solos of the Cav bosses each month, where I'll hit the opponent's block and immediately ricochet off their block with a light intercept. Now this is very similar to the original backdraft intercept, where you could hit the opponent's block and go into a medium, but it's augmented, obviously, because you can no longer backdraft. The ricochet is a term that I've coined, and am now finally like putting a name to it, like in an actual video, instead of just saying it in a video and not putting it on the screen. The ricochet is an actual trick that I started using, specifically with Apocalypse and Guillotine 2099, just because of how lengthy their light reach is. Now, it doesn't work for every single champion. Perfect example I'm going to show you right now. I'm actually going to do a live test, is Morningstar. Now, Morningstar is not the most consistent with ricochets. I believe it's because of how forward her medium dash is. It's very forward. So, right here, see? I went for a ricochet, and because she goes for the club first, trying to get her to block again as I get sidestepped. So, because of how forward her dash is, it doesn't allow me to land the ricochet. She's just one example of where it doesn't really work. So it's not foolproof, it's not 100% safe, but in most situations it does work. Now I'm going to go to another matchup where it actually will work. Morningstar is just the red flag that I had to show off, because not every champion is going to work for the ricochet. Most characters can perform ricochets. It's just Apocalypse, because of how lengthy his light is, it just works well with him. It's really simple. You just hit their block, and if they follow you, you use a light. If they don't follow you, you used a light, so it doesn't matter. Just one more thing before we move on to more of his utility, more of a showcase of that. I just want to show off his amazing interaction with Despair. This is from my second itemless Abyss path, when I had to use him with 0 charges to solo Venom the Duck. As you can see, he just completely mitigated that regen, so pretty cool. Things I want to showcase about Apocalypse is his ability to stun through block. Now at 4 genetic code, Apocalypse gains the ability to strike the opponent with a light and stun them through block. But it doesn't have to be a medium light, and I'll show you. There's many different combo variations you can do with this stun to go along with breaking the block. You can do a medium right into another combo, but that was me doing medium light in the block. You don't even need to do that. What you can do is just throw a light, and then you can use a special. All you need to do is hit their block. You can do that, double light, and it gives you plenty of time to heavy charge. And then there's one more. Very useful. Just trying to get him in the right spot to do the last one. Nice. And you can do that too. So that's just a little showcase of the usefulness of that stun. And now let's move on to the final part of this video. What I'm covering this video is Apocalypse and stun immunity. Now, with 3 genetic code, Apocalypse is immune to stun. while striking. Now, this doesn't cover everything, like encroaching stun, you're still going to have to use specials and stuff. He doesn't fully bypass that. But as a defender, it's pretty effective. Pun intended, now that I'm using Cyclops. So I'm just going to show off that, you know, he's stun immune. As well as parrying that light, any light, will prevent the stun as a defender. So see, I'm using a mutant, so he's at 4. So not only is he stun immune while striking, but he can also use the special, what's it called? He can also use his stun through block, but not if I parry. I just want to parry a light so I can showcase it. He's not letting me. There we go. See, he got me there, but I wasn't parrying. So there's just another showcase. And that's going to bring the Apocalypse Guide to a close. I'm not sure if I'm going to call this Masterclass. I'm pretty sure it's just going to be how to effectively use Apocalypse, just going through all his things, you know, as a solo champion. Of course, the Strife synergy allows his damage to be ridiculous, but I don't think I needed to make a video including that, given all of the content I've made with Apocalypse and Strife together. So that's going to be it. Thank you all so much for watching, and yeah, I'll try to make more guides like this as time goes on. So thank you all, and see you in the next one. Peace.